Stopping climate change and setting a sustainable world is going to happen with technology. There's just no doubt about it. Technology is going to drive all of this. So what we're going to take a look at in this part of the presentation are the technologies. We talked about the carbon release. We've got to stop. How do we stop that? By changing out the technology and the equipment, either to incumbent enhanced technology. We talked about, the amount of debris that goes up into the ozone layer and destroys the ozone layer. But if you think as an engineer, how can you still get the performance of a semi-truck, a ship, a land-based power plant, or a locomotive, but still get the power, but not the air emissions? That's what's critical on this. Striking new report came out just in January. It says that the second largest contribution to ozone is black carbon from diesel. So diesel's got to be addressed. Diesel has to be addressed. Now we find that there's 2.4 million Class 8, the big over-the-road semi-trucks, on the road in the United States, 5 million service trucks, and 20,000 power generators, all powered by diesel. So we know our market. We know exactly where to go to market. What do we take there? We take technology like this. This is coming from Canada, where it can crack water, distilled water, just what you've got in a glass of water, but it's distilled, crack it into hydrogen and oxygen, and feed it into the fuel chamber of the diesel engine. What does that do? Right now, what we're seeing is reduction of 99 and 97% on the hydrocarbons, carbon dioxide 89, 95% reduction, particulate matter down to 56, nitrogen oxide, they all go down because it's more of a complete burn. Shouldn't that give you more power if it's a more complete burn? It sure should, and it does. Pepsi Beverage now is running these units on their trucks. They're getting 15% better fuel mileage. That pays for the unit in 6 months. Plus, they're getting less air emissions. This is perfect. Can this technology be used for ships and locomotives and for land-based power generators? We're just trialing that now. All over the world we're trialing it. From China to the Caribbean to Canada to the United States, Texas. Well, Texas is part of the United States, they think. Maybe it isn't. We haven't figured that out yet. So, we have an opportunity to improve this technology if it works with a return on investment. You know enough about how finances work. With a return on investment of 6 months, who wouldn't buy these things? Because they can go for 15 years. Trains, you bet. Ships, you bet. Power plants, you bet. Now these are incumbent and enhanced technologies that take diesel and turn it into a, I hate to say it, but clean diesel application. Clean diesel application. And we can do the same with coal. Now besides hydrogen hybrid systems, there's propane. Propane burns extremely clean and same power level as diesel. So propane trucks now are coming to the market. It's not considered a greenhouse gas. It's not damaging to freshwater, saltwater ecosystems. It's not harmful to soils. It's a perfect fuel. Now yes, it's oil-based, but listen, I'm not throwing the baby out with the bathwater. There's no way. If I'm going to use oil, I'm going to use clean oil. If I'm going to use coal, I'm going to use clean oil. Coal, because my goal is to reduce the emission rates, and we can do that with propane. Independent power companies, absolutely. There's off-peak and on-peak, and this is how these models are made. I might be paying 3 cents a kilowatt in the middle of the night, but I might be paying 30 cents a kilowatt during the day. Shouldn't I store it or somehow save up my energy at night where it's cheaper and then use that power during the day? We can do that. We can do that with storage systems, and there are already storage systems, big batteries as large as this room. Some of them are thermal fuel cells like I've showed you before. Absolutely. We can also put hydrogen hybrids on these things and have a return on investment of, again, 6 months. So there's all kinds of things we can do. And where's the biggest laboratory in the world? The Caribbean. Here in Iowa, you're paying about 10 cents a kilowatt hour. Down there, they're paying 50 cents a kilowatt hour. Here you're paying $3.40 a gallon for gasoline. They're paying $12 a gallon for gasoline. Where else would you best want to try these technologies than people that are struggling under the burden of cost of fuel and energy. Right there. And Caribbean countries get 85% of their electricity from heavy fuel oil and diesel. And where else would you like to go and have meetings and set up projects than the Caribbean? So for me, it's Caribbean or Fargo, North Dakota. It's going to be Caribbean. So that's what we do. There's another thing. It's a geopolitical issue. President Chavez has just died in Venezuela. Look at the amount of identified reserves of oil in Venezuela compared to Saudi Arabia, which was the largest reserve. Look at that. Everybody would like to have that oil, access to that oil, from the Chinese to the Japanese to the Canadians, Europe, United States. Why fight over something you don't need? If we can go to other sources of energy, we do not have to bid for Venezuelan oil. There's a destabilized situation in the Caribbean. There's groups in Venezuela that did not want to send small cargo ships or tanker ships out to Curacao or Dominican Republic. They'd rather send huge mega tankers over to China and get a better price for it. So there's that issue. There's the whole agriculture issue in the West, starting in Nebraska. These irrigation, whatever you think about irrigation, they're with us for another 2 or 3 decades. What we're saying is turn them to energy generated by the sun or wind and store the energy so that you can have any time, night or day. Now, we talked about these before: hydrogen production, stabilizing wind and ocean current with energy transportation and such, thermal fuel cells, waste to energy systems. But these will be the technologies that save the day. We now have a technology from Canada that looks like it can have high volume hydrogen generation, which could power power plants, could power transportation, could power your home with as much as a hydrogen bottle like this for pennies a day. It looks very, very promising. It's been announced by Massachusetts Institute of Technology and the publication Science. So we're looking very heavily at those kind of breakthrough technologies that could power equipment like this. Power plant equipment run by hydrogen. The Hydrogen Engine Center is out in Algona, Iowa, one of the most significant Iowa-based technologies and centers, headed by the Chief Director of Technology for Ford Motor Company. So I'm going to end things up, I think. Do we have?
30 seconds.
30 seconds. Powered by solar, powered by land, powered by battery systems, wind, solar, charging systems are really, really critical. Waste energy is going to be critical, cell phone issues, but we need to get systems that can power our future, whether it's by rail, by wind, by solar. And we need to reduce the carbon release so that you have a planet, and I have a planet, my kids' kids have a planet to live on. Otherwise, we have a very dismal future. So may we all join together, discuss climate change, correct climate change, and may you go into fields that you can do this.
It's not. Now it's